Should parents be responsible for their children? The purpose of this speech is to persuade my audience to think about personal responsibility of their children. Who should be responsible if a young person gets in trouble? The individual or the person who was taught the individual? If you're a parent of a 15-year-old child and they're caught vandalizing a state building, what would you do?
Kill them.
Kill them, beat her butt. Awesome.
Beat them, put them in juvie.
Awesome. Today we're going to discuss parental responsibilities and what happens and should happen in those cases. We'll go over the current laws, child development, and outcomes of this issue. I've taken a juvenile delinquency class, so there's something that I know a little bit about and why kids get in trouble. To start off, current laws right now for this issue is that if the person is of the age of 18, they are the ones that are responsible and will be charged as an adult. There have been cases of minors, people under 18, that have been tried as adults. Most of the time it's in murder, it's in something big, but just depends on the judge. Happens because of the severity. Children that are like 16, 17-year-old, they consider borderline as far as getting in trouble. So that's why they have to think about that, and that's why there's a lot of controversy about it. Several states have adopted the punishment of parents for the criminal actions of the child as well as the children. At least 42 states in the United States have passed similar legislation. According to juvenile justice reform initiatives in the United States. New York and New Hampshire have provisions holding parents liable for up to $4,100. So a kid does some damage, it's like over that. Child has to pay what's left over. Several states have a lower dollar amount, but also they add prison time to that. Now let's look at the developmental practices that affect this controversy. From an early age, most children are taught right from wrong, right?
Yes.
Most of them. In July 2007, 3 young men allegedly assaulted an elderly man. Current law would make the parent responsible if they knew about it and didn't do anything about it, didn't try to change the child, didn't try to sway them at all. Or also if the parent was involved in it. Changes were trying to be made to the law where the parent would be charged for the crime even though they didn't have any idea that it was going on. What do you guys think about that? If it was your daughter and she did a crime and you had no idea about it, would you want to get charged for it?
No.
So is that too far for the law?
Just a little bit.
A little bit. This is the same ethical dilemma as if someone is being punished for a crime they didn't commit. It's exactly the same thing. The Hong Kong Lawyer, which is a newspaper in Hong Kong, states that in the United States, by the age of 10, a child knows right from wrong and can be held accountable for it. In Hong Kong, 7-year-old children are said to be held reliable. 7-year-old child gets in trouble, then they're held reliable for it. There's no real age to determine because of all children develop differently. Some of them, they just mature different. They may not be mature. I've seen lots of 18-year-old children. It's everywhere. Now, I'm going to say a few of my opinions. It's easy to say by the age of 15 a child knows everything to do and not to do. If they get in trouble, they should be held responsible for it. 15 years old, you know exactly what you're doing. You may not know the repercussions of it, but you do know what you're doing. You know it's wrong. Also, if the trouble could have been helped by something that the parent did, like you didn't pay enough attention to them, you let them go out at night, midnight, roam the streets, then yes, parents should be held responsible. But so should the child, because they do know what they're doing wrong. This brings me to how things would change if parents were more accountable. Step 1, we'll just say a little scenario. A 14-year-old child commits a crime, like I said in the beginning, vandalizes a state courthouse, gets caught, the parent knows absolutely nothing about it. In court, the parent and the teen are both punished. After penalty is paid, the parent is naturally going to pay more attention to the child because they don't want to pay for their son or daughter's mistakes anymore. Also, they'll probably discipline their child a little more like they should have been doing, or maybe keeping them locked down, chasing them, I don't know. There'd be less crime would be committed if parents actually had to deal with the responsibility of their children. A lot of times you see parents that just really don't care what their children do. It's because they don't have to pay the price for it. Parents would be forced to control their children like they should have been doing a long time ago. In the Bible it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old he will not depart from it. I think this is something that should have been thought about all along. As we can see, even thousands of years ago, parents were held responsible for the way their children acted, just as much as the child. Well, the parents were held responsible just as much as the child. Punishment was equally severe for both. Hopefully what I've said today causes you to think about the way you have or will someday raise your children.
Yay.
The top button.
This one?
Yeah.